Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Birmingham, whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are today, and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. Yesterday we had a pretty amazing cleanup day at the church. If you came and were a part of that cleanup, would you please stand so we can recognize you? Thank you all so much for your hard work. The church looks fantastic. Just a reminder to sign your connection card, especially if you're a visitor, so we know that you were here, but also it's an opportunity to sign up for things. There is a lot going on in the service this morning, so feel free to mark anything that you need to sign up for on the connection card directly. To all who are here this morning, welcome home.
Good morning. We appreciate your attention to this morning's announcements. You'll find announcements in your printed order of service, and they're also on the slides for those of you who are watching at home. If you require accommodation this morning during our service, our ushers are in the back, and they are available to assist. If you didn't see them, in the table on the narthex, there are election guides. So these are very helpful ahead of Tuesday. Tuesday is an election day, and UUCB is a polling place. So in order for us to be a polling place, we need a lot of volunteers to make that happen. We're in need of people to bring food for our poll workers and to generally just be here all day to just kind of make sure everything goes smoothly. So when you're leaving church, there is a big sign-up board right next to the entrance in the narthex, and there are just different time slots you can sign up for. So please just take a moment on your way out and put your name down if you can help. We have also been asked by the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee to help care for a father and his two children who were recently reunited after being separated by the unfortunate family separation policies of our government. In your order of service, there's a whole page about this family and what their needs are. We need folks to deliver pantry goods to this family, and we need to collect clothing and toys for the children, as they really don't have much at all. So please sign up on your connection card if you are willing to help, and that'll just help us know what to expect as far as donations. Also, if you want to make just a direct donation to the family, you can make your donation out by check or Venmo or however you want to donate, and just note that it's for the UUCB Asylum family. And we also have a couple of special announcements. The first one is about Pride. I'll invite Xander up.
Hi guys. Oh, let me knock it over. All right. Y'all know me. I'm Xander. So as y'all know, if you don't already know, Pride is coming up really, really soon. Birmingham Pride. So we are doing a number of things. We are involved in 3 different events. We're hosting the Interfaith Service, which is on June 2nd. We are going to have a float in the parade on June 11th. And we are going to be having a booth on June 12th at the Pride Fest. I'm up here asking for additional money to help us make this all possible. So you can either donate for the offering and make sure you put like Pride on it, or if you do like Venmo, make sure you put Pride in there. So we need extra funds to make all of it possible. We are doing tie-dye after the service in the Memorial Garden. You would think I would know the name, guys. And so we're going to tie-dye. We're going to wear tie-dyed shirts for the parade, okay? There's also going to be a number of, if they're not already out there, there's sign-ups, because we're going to need help with like setting up for the interfaith service. We're going to need help with the booth, just different people. And we have our first build day for the parade float next Saturday at 10 a.m. in the church parking lot, okay? All right, guys, y'all are awesome. Yay.
Thank you, Xander. And now I want to invite up Lynn and Susan for another special announcement.
Well, good morning. I am Lynn Snow,
And I'm Susan McKee.
and we got in our car this morning and drove up here from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So we are part of your extended family, Unitarian family. We're representing UUCT. Susan is the current president, and I am the chair of a committee to research partnership. And so we had contacted your board and proposed that could we begin explorations together to think about partnering so that perhaps we could bring our talents and resources together in our shared mission of spreading UU opportunities across the state. And so I think Susan wanted to say a couple things.
Thank you. We are delighted to be here. It's just to see how welcoming and opening you are, you know, coming from one UU church to another is just, it's a good experience. I've gotten a tour, and Lynn and I have been downstairs to see your facility, and just how I think the brightness, the cheeriness, the openness is just so felt so much. I am the president of the board, and we in Tuscaloosa have been struggling with, I'll be very open about it, with the pandemic. We did virtual for about 2 years, just opened up recently about 6 weeks ago. And we have lost some of our members through COVID, some of our members through other illnesses. And we are a university town. We draw a lot from the professors and the faculty at the University of Alabama, plus some others, of course. Our membership roll is around 72, and we're now dropping down to about, we think, 45. That's something that we're going to be looking at. We are passionate about our religion and our social justice movements, and that the need in this country and in our state. And so it's very important for us to figure out ways that we can continue to bring that liberal religion and keep it going, the flame going in Tuscaloosa area. So in one of our thoughts and exploring, as Lynn just said, we said, wow, why not turn to Birmingham? And then I get here and I see the sign-ups in the hall and your program that has all these offerings, and I say, wow, we could connect here and here and here and bring things to Tuscaloosa and bring Tuscaloosa to here. And I'm thinking it might be a wonderful time and opportunity. So thank you for accepting us and letting us be here today.
Hi, I'm Ginger Campbell, and I will be becoming the president of the board in July, so I'm very involved with this. They met with us in our board meeting this past Thursday, and the board voted to continue to explore a possible relationship with the Tuscaloosa congregation. Our plan is to begin working together in a small group of people, and then we will be bringing you more information at the congregational meeting on June 26th. And nothing is going to happen without a vote of the whole congregation, be assured of that. But we wanted you to have a, sort of a taste of the future. We're very excited that this is going to help both of our congregations grow and maybe even work together in ways that we haven't thought of yet.
We are really excited about this. Thank you, Lynn and Susan, for being here this morning. And I just wanted to emphasize, we will need a joint committee coming together. Tuscaloosa has already picked their representatives, but we will need some folks from UUCB who want to be a part of this, figuring all the details out. So if you're one of those folks, please write it on your connection card, and I'll be in touch. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
The prelude prepares us for worship. please rise and body your spirit for the lighting of our chalice. We call forth the life of our faith by igniting our chalice together. This spark of new beginnings invites us into a sacred space to reflect where we have been and on where we are going. Even knowing that this particular flame will intentionally end with our ritual extinguishing, we fear not its end, for we know with our brave hearts that from every ending of our lives, we are sent forth to make a new beginning. In the spirit of inclusivity and welcome, please take just a few moments to greet those around you, especially those you may not know. Please be seated for our opening words. I always hate doing that. To this house we come, bringing our boldest dreams, seeking here the inspiration and the strength to make them be. To this house we come, hoping to bury broken dreams, to be sustained through their pain, and to discover new ones amidst our tears. We come here lonely, sometimes isolated from meaningful human contact, searching for warmth, for closeness, and for care. Needing to grow beyond plateaus of our commonplaces, we seek here challenges and commitments, productive of greater wholeness and of deeper meaning. We come intense and constructed, hoping for encouragement to shred our pretenses and to be ourselves. Filled with despair and self-doubt, We seek affirmations prodding us to say yes to ourselves and to life. Somehow, always putting happiness ahead of ourselves, we entered this place trusting that what happens here will enable us to make and to accept a little bit of it now, today. It's a strange place, this house. Here we cry, sing, laugh, hurt, dance, survive, celebrate, grow, search, doubt, hope, rejoice, pray, trust, care, learn, think, wonder, and become. Yes, this morning to this house we come. Now we'll welcome our choir.
Sounds like they're ready for the choir. Jim's always recruiting. Good morning, I'm Grant. I'm a member of the board, And our church is supported by those who call our church home and by those who support the efforts of our church to change our world for the better. If this is your first time with us, please pass the plate. We're just glad that you're here. If you wish to join our church this morning, please come up during the offertory to sign the membership book that's to the left. We share a cash plate every Sunday with organizations whose work reflects UU values to care for marginalized persons, advocate for real and systemic change, defend our environment, and promote justice and equity for all. Today's Share the Plate will be for Be a Blessing Birmingham, an organization here dedicated to serving the houseless population. In addition to funds, there is a list of items in the narthex that we are gathering for Be a Blessing Birmingham. You can find those on the outside door and just outside the doors here. We appreciate your donations either by placing them in the plate, by mailing your donation to the church, or by using PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle. Our Venmo account is at UUCBH. Is that it? Not AM? Oh, no. BHAM. That's what I thought. Thank you. Like Paul Harvey. Anybody old enough? Page 2. All right, so our Venmo account is at UUCBHAM. Our Zelle account is office@uucbham.org. Please designate whether your offering is for UUCBHAM or Be a Blessing. Thank you for your generous support of our church and our Share the Plate recipient. May we give in love and in hope.
Now is that time in our community when we share what we carry with us this day, whether joy or sorrow. For those of you online, please begin to share your joys and sorrows in the chat and hold one another in love by putting parentheses around the names of those being lifted up. For those of you in person today, I invite you to come forward and drop a stone in honor or in memory of what is on your heart today. Please come forward. Today, we celebrate with all of our graduates and our bridging children and youth as they move up. We'll talk about that more in a minute, but we are so proud of you, and we can't wait to see where your dreams take you. Today, we lift up our beloved Gerda Carmichael, who has just been diagnosed with COVID. Please keep Gerda in your thoughts this week. We also lift up the families of two beloved church friends who have died recently. Kate is going to light candles from our chalice to honor both of them. We lift up Alex Feldman and all who loved him, and for the joy especially that he brought to our choir. We also lift up Ivan Adams, one of our church friends who greatly benefited from our online services and was planning to join the church today. We will miss his humor and his brilliance. Both Ivan and Alex remind us to savor every moment and be exuberant in our love for one another. May we keep one another in our hearts and minds as we go forth this week in love. Please take a moment to hear a spoken meditation followed by a moment of silence. Today's meditation was written by the Reverend Erica Barron. May you never thirst. May your body and your spirit always have what they need. When you are in need of refreshment or new life, may the waters be available to you. May you never know thirst unto death in your body or in your soul. May you never thirst. And may your body and your spirit always thirst enough to stay alive. May you know the dissatisfaction with things as they are that leads to work for injustice. May you know the thirst for new knowledge that leads to the quest for truth. May you know the desire for deeper connection that creates new and stronger relationships. May you know the spiritual thirst that keeps the soul searching and gives the sweetness of new discovery to faithful followers of spiritual paths of all kinds. May you never thirst too deeply, but may your thirst never be truly quenched. Please join me in a moment of silence. Amen and blessed be.
Good morning. The bridging ceremony celebrates the transition of our youth from their high school experience to young adulthood. It is this time of tremendous change and stress for our youth. It is a time when many of them will leave our particular church community to travel to other cities, into higher education, into careers, and possibly into new families.
The bridging ceremony is a rite of passage that welcomes these bright and energetic people into the rewards and responsibilities of adult life. The bridge has two sides. One is childhood and adolescence, where they have become leaders and role models for their younger friends and acquaintances. The other side is a scary and vast frontier of the unknown, full of boundless opportunities and new challenges. We, the adult members of this church community, also stand on the other side. We stand on the other side with our arms open to welcome them, our minds prepared to mentor and learn from them, and our hearts prepared to share life together with them.
But before we recognize our high school bridgers, I would like to take a moment to recognize some of our younger bridgers as well. So, Ellis, could you come forward? Ellis is one of our fabulous pre-K students, but Ellis is getting ready to start kindergarten, so you are, sorry, she's going into first grade. Oh my gosh. You're just getting so old, Ellis, I don't know. So Ellis is moving up to our lower elementary class, and we'd like you to take this gift and remember that you shape the future. Yay! And let's see, our next class, Skylar, could you come up for a moment? Skylar and some friends are going to be bridging from our lower elementary class to our upper elementary class. Oh my goodness, so exciting. Skylar, I have a gift for you because you light the way. There you go. Our other bridgers aren't here today, but Stark Newton and Desmond will also be bridging into that class. Next, could I get Lily and, Lennon. Hello, Lily. Hello, Lennon. These are some of our former upper elementary kids who are going to be bridging into middle school youth. Yay. So, yay. And for you, Lily, and you, Lennon, I want you to remember that your words matter, and here's a fabulous place for you to keep track of them. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Along with Lily and Lennon, Elena and Cole and Charlotte will also be bridging to middle school. And last but definitely not least, my dear friend Alex, could you come forward for a moment? I know, the brotherly love. Alex, you are bridging to high school. It's hard to believe. So I just want you to remember that you shine bright. This is for you, and this is for you. So be prepared to be the high school. You got this? Perfect. Along with Alex, Calliope, Elizabeth, and Wyatt will all be part of our high school group as well. But now, let's recognize the big fish.
If the high school graduates would come forward with their families, and also we need our young adult contingent up here with your litany. Everybody bring your litany with you because you got some words. And we also need some non-bridging youth, some of our kids to come up as well. So.
You're here, you're fine. You stay here.
Okay, does everybody know your parts? Yeah, we need some more young adults.
We have young adults, I know we do.
Any other self-identified young
Young
adults?
adults.
No pressure. Okay. Let us join together in our litany. It all starts with the congregation. Today, we honor the youth among us, you who are stepping beyond and away and toward. Today, we share in your journey and encourage your discovery. Yes?
Today we welcome your energy
and offer you a safe space to grow. Today we celebrate your hopes and dreams. Come live, breathe, thrive, and rejoice. Your time is now.
All right, you all gather around. Well, I tried.
Today we applaud you for all you have been, for all you are now, and for all you will be.
Today marks an ending so that I may begin to hope and do and learn and be.
Cool. I don't know what we were reading.
Yeah, me too.
Today we cross your bridge. Go now and explore with wonder. We will support and nurture you. You are the future.
Today you cross this bridge. Go now and make choices that make you happy. We will support and nurture you. You are amazing.
Today you cross this bridge. Be patient and hopeful. We will support and nurture you. You are an inspiration.
One more.
Today I cross this bridge and join in fellowship. Let me grow, but don't let me go.
Together, we share a special place. Together we learn, together we love, together we grow. Bridgers, if you would one at a time, take the bridge, let your parents take pictures if they want. Or maybe someone else from the congregation. Zach, we have some gifts for you as well. We have a chalice for you to carry forth into young adulthood. And we also have roses that we're going to pretend are really thorny, so pretend to bleed a lot. But remember when you were kids, you were given a rose without thorns to symbolize that we as the church wanted to protect you. And now that you are young adults, we can no longer protect you, but we can send you forth with all the hope and love we can muster. We are so proud of you. Congratulations. We celebrate your accomplishment and love you always. Thank you all. Children, if you all will stay up here for Time for All Ages, go ahead and have your seat. If any other children would like to come forward for the Time for All Ages, you may do so. And we have cake after the service to celebrate Forrest and Zach and Shemaiah and Karen, all of our graduates.
That was so exciting. Was that exciting, guys? Lily, just need you to know that was your child. No. Hi, everybody online. We're glad that you're here. So this is not my story I was going to share with you. This is. Here is my story I was going to share with you. So, fair warning, anyone who is parents in the crowd, this is one of those kind of tear jerkers. Be prepared. Ready, guys? Okay. Take this off here. So, it's called Becoming Real. The skin horse had lived longer in the nursery than any of the others. He was so old that his brown coat was bald in patches and showed seams underneath. Most of the hairs in his tail had been pulled out to string beads. He was wise, for he had seen a long succession of mechanical toys arrive and to boast and brag and swagger, and by break their mainsprings and never turn into anything else. He knew they were only toys, and they would never turn into anything else, for the nursery magic was very strange and wonderful, and only those playthings that were old and wise and experienced, like the skin horse, understood all about it. "What is real?" asked the rabbit. One day when they were lying side by side in the nursery fender before Nana had come to tidy up the room. "Does it mean having things that buzz inside you, or a stick-out handle?" "Real isn't what you're made of," said the skin horse. "It's a thing that happens to you. When a child loves you for a long time, not just to play with you, but really, really loves you, then you become real." "Does it hurt?" asked Rabbit. "Sometimes," said the skin horse, for he was always truthful. "When you are real, though, you don't mind being hurt." "Does it happen all at once, like being wound up?" the rabbit asked. "Or is it bit by bit?" "It doesn't happen all at once," said the skin horse. "You become. It takes a long time. That's why it doesn't happen often to people who break easily or have sharp edges or have to be carefully kept. Generally, by the time you are real, most of your hair has been loved off and your eyes drop out and you get loose in the joints and very shabby. But those things don't matter at all, because after you are real, you can't be ugly, except to people who don't understand. "I suppose you're real," said Rabbit, and then he wished he had not said that, for he thought the skin horse might be sensitive. But the skin horse only smiled. "The boy's uncle made me real," he said. "It was a great many years ago. But once you are real, you can't become unreal. It lasts for always." The end. So, if you fabulous folks would hum us downstairs, we'll be back up for cake later.
Today's reading is by Dawn Starr Sarah's Bulkhead. Knit 6, purl 6, set of 2 rows, 4 rows, 6 rows, up to 12. Patterns, repeating, steady, and soothingly same. This is not what life is like. Life is like picking up a tousled hunk of yarn pulled out of the basket by an impatient child looking for a string too many times. You find an end, you follow the thread for a while, and sooner or later you hit a tangle. Knots and twists and loops all mixed up together. Sometimes I sit there and untangle it, pulling little by little until I have one piece stretched out and can go on to the next one. Sometimes I grab a pair of scissors and cut it. Enough. I only need a little anyway. But sometimes I hold the tangle in my hand, amazed for a moment at the complexity of it, the mess. I look at it and think, this can't be solved. It just is. There are patterns, connections, confusing ones and frustrating ones. The thread turns back on itself, as life also does. The tangled things will always be here in the moment I am living through right now and whatever comes after. Even if I work through this, even if I cut the cord and walk away, look at the tangled knot in the yarn. Look at how it hurts.
Reading that poem about yarn this week, I couldn't help but think of our high school graduates today. Today is one of a series of rituals that they and their families will navigate as they consider how best to cut the cord and launch their young people into adulthood. Simultaneously, we have the best hope that we have prepared these young adults for most of the challenges they will face. And when they come upon a string that is tied in knots, they will hopefully have the perseverance and determination to do that work, to untangle those knots, knowing that we as part of their home faith community will be here to love and support them along the way. Outside our church entrance this week is a nest filled with baby birds. Right as you leave the front door, look up the right, you see the little nest up there. All week we have heard their chirps and their pleas for food and watched as their little beaks opened and closed just barely above the nest, while a colony of wasps flew around. The baby birds chirped. It seemed like a natural metaphor to the terror and hope that parents face during these graduations. And the excitement and possibility are no longer baby birds feel as they fly from the nest for the first time. These past 2 weeks, this notion of this long wait has been really prominent on my mind. One of the reasons that we celebrate graduations is because of the time and effort we have invested. We want to celebrate that goal that took so long to achieve. It's a big deal, whether it's a diploma, a degree, a training program, and self-reflection is embedded in the process. What needs to be carried forward? What can be left behind? Many of these life moments offer us a fresh start, whether it's a promotion at work, a new title, or a whole new city to live in. There's hopefulness. So many new faces, so many new first impressions, and new memories. Many of those impressions stick. Little actions that you take or choose not to take may cause lasting ripples into the future, the principle known as the butterfly effect. In 1984, a woman named Christofina Jackson, who at the time was 64 years old, fell through the marble stairs at her South Bronx apartment, causing serious injuries. She sued the city of New York, who owned the apartment, And when her lawyer requested that the city look for some important documents as part of the lawsuit, the city provided a 3-sentence long affidavit stating they had looked in a couple of places, but they couldn't find anything, so they were giving up. Jackson's attorneys pressed on, and the courts agreed that the document provided was not enough and that we should all try a little harder. The 1992 decision became state law and was used in countless court cases and is nicknamed the Jackson Affidavit and is required now. Today, in 2022, that same law is costing Donald Trump $10,000 a day for failure to provide documents to New York Attorney General Letitia James. This was the first win for Christofina Jackson's lawyer back in the day, who fought so courageously being fresh out of law school. That ripple effect created by that fresh new face out of school continues to have a huge impact today. Wherever you go after service today, remember that your actions create impact far into the future, as small as the interaction may be. Building bridges is one way that we can connect and bond with each other and create that lasting impact. Once upon a time, there were 2 brothers who had neighboring farms. They grew to distrust one another, and they began finding ways to build barriers between them and their farms. One brother dug a ditch between the farms that was so deep you could not cross over it easily. The other brother filled the ditch with water to make it even more difficult to cross between the farms. The resentment grew and grew, and one of the brothers decided to hire a carpenter to build a fence between the properties so that he wouldn't even have to look at his brother's side of the property. The carpenter examined the area, quoted him a price. Lumber was ordered, and each day there were the sounds of hammering, and it was very satisfying to the brother, who could not wait for this moment when he no longer had to deal with this. Finally, the work was finished, and the carpenter invited him out to see. But instead of a fence, the carpenter had built a bridge to cross the water-filled ditch. "That's not what I asked you to build," he protested. But before he could complain further, his brother ran across the field and embraced him, appreciating the bridge as an extension of peace. We call this our bridging service because bridges represent crossing over an obstacle, a life transition, a connection from one point to another. We acknowledge there are 2 sides of the bridge because without the before and after, the bridge could not stand. There is a vantage point from being on the bridge that cannot be found anywhere else. We are transformed by those moments in our lives and all of the ways that we are standing on the bridge looking out. Bridges are also a feat of engineering and symbolize hard work and perseverance and overcoming the odds. Bridges require a lot of support and maintenance and can be traveled in both directions. Bridges have much to teach us. In the mid-1800s, John Roebling had a dream. His dream was to build a suspension bridge between New York City and Long Island. All the experts he spoke to said, "This is a ridiculous idea, and you should not do this. No bridge of this magnitude has ever been created." For years, he mulled it over, and eventually he shared the idea with his now adult son named Washington, who was a young, naive engineer. Washington believed the bridge could be built just like his father, and so they worked together to construct an idea, and on January 3rd, 1870, construction began. A year into construction, John died of tetanus from an injury on the job site while building that bridge. And his son Washington took over as the chief engineer. A few months later, Washington himself suffered a paralyzing injury, and he was unable to walk or talk. He could only move one finger. And since he could no longer supervise, construction ground to a halt. Perhaps the family should have taken the hint. This same family had a person die in the Titanic and lots of other things. There were a lot of things going on. But according to one version of the story, Washington is lying in his hospital bed and is only able to move one finger, and he figures out somehow that his wife, Emily, can understand his instructions by tapping with one finger. And so she translates his messages to the crew, and 13 years later, the Brooklyn Bridge is created. Now, that's one version of the story. The other version of the story, which I find much more plausible, is that when Washington became injured, Emily taught herself engineering. And it is, in fact, her vision and direction that completed the Brooklyn Bridge. I mean, her name is also on the bridge, so I think anyway. But whichever the case is true, the 5,989-foot-tall Brooklyn Bridge is a tale of perseverance and working together to achieve a common goal. Don't give up and surround yourself with good people just in case. Yesterday, I finally had an opportunity to go on a real civil rights tour in Montgomery with some of my colleagues. We drove by Rosa Parks' house, by MLK's house and church, and I saw the place that people were sold to other people. I still have a lot to unpack from that trip yesterday, but we were standing in front of the Alabama state capitol, and we heard the story of Horace King. Anyone know the story of Horace King? Horace King was an enslaved man who was purchased by an Alabama contractor named John Godwin in 1830. Godwin was a bridge builder and taught King the trade. But very quickly, King became the better bridge builder, and his projects were requested all over Alabama. King and Godwin built bridges and buildings all over our state. And although it was illegal, Godwin taught King to read, write, and let him keep a portion of the proceeds from all of these projects. King eventually purchased his freedom with Godwin's blessing, although Alabama law stated that he could only live in Alabama for a year afterward, since they had prohibited free black folks from living in Alabama. A Tuscaloosa state senator, Robert Jemison, passed an exemption in the state legislature for King to thank him for all of his bridge building work, so that he could construct the 2 spiral staircases inside the state capitol. They were built using bridge building techniques, and they do not require a central support. In 2017, Horace the Bridge Builder King, as he was known, became the first African-American portrait displayed in the Alabama State Capitol. Today, we have 2 opportunities to be a part of this bridge-making process in our congregation. We will continue to celebrate those who have crossed a significant milestone in their life and provide them with support and encouragement that they need to get to the other side. We also have an opportunity today to begin the process to build a bridge with the congregation in Tuscaloosa. Like all bridge building projects, this one is going to take some work, some careful engineering, and a lot of patience as we navigate this process to continue our mission of nurturing liberal religion in central Alabama. If you would like to be one of these bridge builders for this project, please let me know after the service. Today and always, may we honor those who celebrate milestones. May we have the courage to take on projects as a congregation that bring life to ourselves and the wider community. May our work together expand the beloved community to those who need it most. May we build bridges where there are moats. May we find avenues of connection instead of erecting barriers. Let us build together. Our actions today build our future tomorrow. Amen.
Please rise and bow to your spirit for the extinguishing of our chalice. These are the words of June Jordan in Poem for South African Women, which she presented at the UN in 1978. We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are not perfect, but we are perfectly fitted for this day. We are not without fault, but we can be honest to face our past as we chart a new future. We are the ones we have been waiting for. May we be bold and courageous and chart a new future. May we have faith in a future that is not yet known. We are the ones we have been waiting for.
Let us celebrate all of our bridge crossings individually and as a community. Share your love with one another this week. Go in peace.